Hey everyone, welcome to our fifth week, I believe, of our remote learning. We are focusing still on our studio habit of mind of understanding art worlds. And today we'll be discussing Cubism, which is a style of art, and the artist Pablo Picasso, one of the most famous artists in the world to date. He's a Spanish artist. Um, He's known for saying, one of his most famous quotes is, "Every child is an artist. The problem is to remain an artist once they grow up." This is a painting Pablo Picasso did. First Communion was done when he was only 14 years old. Pablo Picasso developed his artistry and his ability to do realistic paintings at an extremely young age. His father, who was also an artist, was said to once he saw this painting that his son did at the young age of 14, said that he was going to never paint again because he would never be as good as his own son. But Picasso changed his style, although he could do extreme realism paintings such like this, and preferred to do what became known as Cubism. This painting on the left here is what is considered Cubism. So Cubism is a style of painting in which, instead of in the past using things like value and perspective and overlapping to create this illusion of space to portray an object or a person as being shown in real life in our three-dimensional world, it was the idea of looking at an object from those different perspectives and placing them all on the page for you to see. Um, that way you could really see the whole object, but broken up and placed on one plane instead of multiple planes, meaning just from one perspective. And you can see this in the guitar and how it's been broken into pieces and different views and cut up into these flat shapes and forms and placed so the viewer could see the guitar from different angles all in one picture. You get that same sort of feeling with his sculpture here. Um, it is three-dimensional, but he has broken it up into the parts. The same with this other guitar here. And he is famous for doing guitars because he is a Spanish artist, and the guitar was thought to be invented in Spain. And so you'll see that in a lot of his works because he was very proud of his heritage and his culture. This is an example of the evolution, of his artwork changing. So at 15 years old, he could paint like this. At 25 years old, just the beginning of Cubism, where he's using flat, sharp, geometric shapes and not trying to create an illusion of three-dimensional space as much. Most paintings are more flat and true to the canvas. And then development here, where true Cubism, where you see the eye looking straight at you, the nose in profile, the fist, and it almost is described as being childlike and influenced a lot by African masks that he loved. So as you see this progression, another thing that Picasso is famous for saying is that it only took him 4 years to be able to paint like the famous Italian Renaissance artist Raphael, but it took him the rest of his life to learn to paint like a child. Here's another example of his work, Three Musicians. And this it looks kind of like a collage. Like these are cut shapes of paper collaged together to create an image. But in reality, this is a painting. The Three Musicians, this center figure here is Picasso, again with his guitar. Um, and you can kind of see in the back here the shape of this dog. So there's actually 4 figures in the painting, and you can see the dog's tail kind of right here. But just another example of that Cubist style of not trying to represent realistically figures, as you can see here. None of these look like real to life people. Um, but you can still tell with the use of shape and color um, what is going on in the painting, that there are three figures, that they have instruments, that they're playing music. Um, but it's broken up and it gives it sort of a fun, more childlike and modern approach to painting. So for your choice boards today, you are the artist and your home is your studio. And as always, you're always free to create your own ideas. But you could try to create a still life in the style of Cubism. Remember, a still life is a still non-moving object from everyday life. You could do a shoe, a water bottle, a vase, anything you'd like. Pick an object and then just try drawing it from different points of view, looking down on it, looking at it from the bottom, looking at it from the side, and draw sort of a broken up image of all those different viewpoints in one drawing. And that would be the style of Cubism. Um, Same, or you could try it with a self portrait. It doesn't have to be a self portrait, it could be just a picture of a person where you're mixing things up, where you're doing the view from looking up at a person, you know, where maybe you'd see like their mouth would be at a funny angle, or the side view where you get that side view of the nose, the eyes looking forward. It doesn't have to just have two eyes. Those would be interesting, kind of a funny, cool mismatch of facial features you could create into one picture. Or you could try to do a sculpture or a collage, actually cutting out the paper from magazines and kind of putting them together to make those um, shapes, much like we saw here, right? Your newspapers, magazines, and you can always color and paint on top of that as well. Or doing like we saw here, you could use pieces of cardboard from around your house to create a sculpture, leftover paper towel or toilet paper tubes, tissue boxes, cut up cereal boxes, what have you. Try to glue them together and create, doesn't have to be obviously a guitar, but some other sort of sculpture in a cubist way. But again, these are just suggestions. If you have your own ideas of what you would like to try and experiment, that is always welcome. I love seeing what you guys come up with. Okay. So give a minute there for our Spanish speaking friends. And these slides will also be on the slides. If you don't see it all now, you can always go back to it. Now, the rest of your time, you can go be artists. Until next time, bye bye.